I was so focused on Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, Latu. I even considered Chot Robinson in the second round, but I never considered Bralen Trice. And that's extremely unfortunate because Bralen Trice was way more productive than all those defensive ends I just named. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Sip and Scout. My name is Marquise Cheney, and on today's show, we're going to be taking a trip to the University of Washington to look at Bralen Trice. So I like Bralen Trice. I mean, I really do. Watching his film, doing my homework, man, I fell in love with this player. But to be honest, I was not high on him before the Falcons drafted him. You know, I was so focused on Dallas Turner and Jared Verse, Latu, and I even considered Chot Robinson in the second round. But I never considered Bralen Trice. And that's extremely unfortunate because Bralen Trice was way more productive than all those defensive ends I just named. Yes, Bralen Trice was the most productive pass rusher in this class. In 2022, he led the nation with 70 pressures. 2023, he led the nation again with 78 pressures. We're talking about a guy that PFF has put on their Pac-12 first team. He's just the third team in the All-American list. I'm talking about a guy that he's broken PFF's record for individual pressures in a game. 2022, he had 18 pressures against Washington State. Last season against Stanford, he had a game where he had 16 pressures. So, I mean, as you can see, he's extremely productive, and that's one of the first strengths I have right here for him. He's extremely productive. We're going to see a lot throughout his film. He's very strong, very powerful. And then to end it off, I mean, I just think he's a smart football player. He has extremely high IQ on and off the field, just a bright guy. And I just think, you can never have enough of the smart football players, man. Just flat out students of the game. It's very clear that he is one of those. We're going to be talking about his weaknesses, but before we get into that, let's look at what we have listed above. I'll say Bralen Trice has the ideal physique for an NFL edge player, using his impressive upper body strength to excel in run defense and pass rushing situations. He is particularly effective at converting speed into power as a pass rusher. So we're going to be looking at a lot. We're going to be looking at two of Washington's biggest games, which was their last two games in the college football playoffs. We're going to be looking at Texas. I think this is a good game to watch because Texas right now has the number one ranked offensive line. They just brought back three starters from this game. So, again, when you're looking at how he's able to produce, in my opinion, I want to see it against the best competition. I'm not going to watch tape against Washington State or Stanford or some of these other teams in the Pac-12 that's just throwing the ball a lot. I want to see him against the top tier competition. And Texas had a great offensive line, great head coach. We're also going to be watching his tape against Michigan. Again, another great offensive line, another great coach. So without further ado, let's jump into this tape, man. And I should warn y'all, I'm going to be doing a lot of pausing, a lot of skipping, a lot of reversing. I'm going to be doing a lot, so y'all bear with me. But I think the goal of today's show is just to learn more about Bralen Trice and what he'll bring to the Atlanta Falcons. So in this first play, anytime you see a defensive end in front of a tight end or vice versa, a tight end in front of a defensive end, that's a great opportunity for you to see what this end is about, because they should dominate tight ends in every situation. So that's something we'll keep an eye out on, as we watch the film. On this play in particular, the tight end was lined up in front of Trice, but as you see, he's going to be going across the line of scrimmage and try to create some misdirection. And this is actually a great play design and great overall play for the offense, because it got Trice to kind of stand up a little bit because he's watching the tight end, he's looking at the court. There's a lot going on right here. Like I said, it stood him up, and it allowed the offensive tackle to gain leverage. And again, that's one of his weaknesses, is with him being 7'4", sometimes he can get stood up very easily. And at that point, when that happens, the play is done. As you see, the play is done. The tackle stood him up, gets right past him. Again, another time where he kind of lost his leverage a little bit, but I think this is part of the reason why he is actually a third round talent, is because of his limited athleticism. I mean, as we can see, he just struggles to get around the edge, mainly because he's not able to get low and to truly bend around that pass rusher. That's something you look for in defensive ends. How you're able to bend, how you're able to dip, stay low, convert that initial, step off the line of scrimmage into power and explosion, and again to get around that edge. And I think that's something we don't see out of Trice just yet. And that's exciting if you're a Falcons fan, right? Because without that real speed move or the ability to really bend that edge, he's still been extremely productive. So again, extremely exciting. But again, you can kind of see how he fell to the third round because, he can't get around the edge. The tackle pushes him back, pushes him out. The quarterback steps into the pocket. That's easy money. Again, we're seeing him not really able to generate much coming off the edge. This is a really good play design by Sark. Had everyone confused, myself included. Another play. I mean, the one thing we're going to see though is his effort, man. He's giving effort every play. Even when the play is over and he can't really impact it, he's not going to waste energy trying to prove to the lineman that he's stronger. He's still going to keep his eyes on the ball, and I think that's a positive. Let's try to go back to that one screen. But as you see, man, he's not going to give up. Force the quarterback to step up. Great. Again, 2 fake screens. But still, he was working. And I think, you put in all that work for these moments right here. He's on the edge, one-on-one against the right tackle. If you ask me, a lot of these pass rush moves we've been watching, he hasn't won. But I think one thing he is doing is he's setting these tackles up for this move. He's been subtly setting tackles up for this inside move. And one thing about Bralen Trice, if you didn't know, is that he has one dominant move, one elite move, and it's this inside move. I mean, that's just elite. As you can see, the tackle's kind of anticipating him to continue to give him that BS, along the edge. And maybe even he was expecting a little help from his guard. But as you can see, Trice took advantage of it. He got a good jump. He has a lot of momentum going forward while the tackle's going back. His tackle's not able to get his hands on him. And it's over with. Straight power. And again, to me, he's earned that sack because he's continued to give effort every play. And it's not easy for these tackles to guard someone with this much power. Again, we see his versatility. He can line up inside over the center occasionally. Now he's back on the edge. As you can see, that's one guy you want to block. He will get back there if he's unblocked. And again, these type of plays, he's just setting up, the tackles for critical downs. This is a play where you see that high motor. That's one where you hear a lot with pass rushers or defensive ends. Does he have a high motor? It's cliche, but Bralen Trice is actually one of the players that has a high motor. Again, he's going to be engaged every play. That was a nice stunt. Force the quarterback to get the ball out quick. Again, as you can see, man, he's going against these tackles, and it's not easy. It's not easy. Like, he's giving them a handful. And what this is doing is working them. It's truly working them and wearing them down. And that's an exciting thing for Bralen Trice when you think about his role for the Falcons, as we see his motor there, is that he's going to put himself in position to be an early down defensive end that's basically just going to beat up on tackles, wear them out. So on third down and critical situations, now we can bring in our speed guys and let them bend around the corner, let them use their athleticism. So definitely excited about his potential fit just because he's showing so much versatility and he's showing that he's gonna beat up on people and get in the inside, force a quarterback to get the ball out quickly. There was a little bit of that dip we've been looking for. Relentless. He's not gonna stop. It's what you love to see, man. You love to see the effort. And what's very interesting about this play, again, this is another play where I think he earned the sack, right? You've been engaged, you've been working hard, you deserve this sack. When you actually watch the play, it shows you his IQ. He had a free release. They swung the guard over, and they've actually ran this play a couple times. But he kind of stopped a little bit to take away that swing route. It could be a swing route, it could be a screen, and for him to understand, okay, they've been running this play a lot. Let me kind of sit, still engage with the guard, and still engage with the lineman, and then to still finish the play with a sack. It shows you why he's so productive, man. And it's kind of reminiscent of Grady Jarrett and how he played at Clemson. Just relentless. You're a handful, but then you just don't stop, and you walk into easy sacks. That's an extremely impressive play, as you can see. Helping his defensive line, moving around, forcing the quarterback to get the ball out quickly. Just everything you want out of a player. Like, forget his position. He's just a good football player. His strength. His strength. And that was an interesting move. Like, I would love to see him continue to add that to his bag, was that spin move. You know, you initiate the play with power and then you hit that spin. You're looking like Dwight Freeney. It looks like I lost the play. But that was a good spin move. Bull rush him all the way back to the quarterback, then disengage. Again, we're seeing why he's so productive, man. He's just a handful. I mean, he's on his knees. He's still forcing the quarterback, outside the pocket. See him lined up inside in the red zone. That'll be interesting to see how the Falcons use him um, in different situations. But again, this is a player, high motor, who's a team captain the past 2 seasons. His team has voted him defensive MVP the past 2 seasons. Pac-12 or PFF has him ranked as one of the best Pac-12 players over the past couple seasons. And you see why. You see why, man. He's engaged. You feel him every snap. You have to know where he's at every snap. He'll make you pay. He's smart. He's setting you up. I mean, he's just a good football player, man. But let's jump into this tape for the national championship game. This would be a good test because he's going against a great left tackle, as we see here. That was a great. That's just good for both players, right? Dang. Let's go back to this first play. Oh my, the inside move was deadly. Yeah, see, he definitely showed a little athleticism there. Shows it here too. But as you can see, the tackles, he's just athletic. He's able to recover even though he was beat initially, and just continue to force him upfield. That's just a good play overall for both players, man. And for him to still get back into play, it just shows you again why he's so productive. Now they're starting to double team him. the, the left tackle's been holding his own, but they still putting the tight end out there. And again, that's why this is a good game to watch because Jim Harbaugh is going to always put his team in positions to win, and he was not going to let Bralen Trice blow his game up. I'm sure they saw those first couple plays against him against that tackle. They said, all right, we're going to send some help. The tackle forced him inside. It was like tackle flat out held him on that last play. It was like he was held again. It was a great effort from the whole defensive line to force that quick pass. And that was the thing about Washington this season, man. This past season, they weren't really great defensively, but he stood out. He stood out on a average defense. As we watch the tape, man, it's like you just feel him every play. But yeah, again, in my opinion, there's lots to like. You're talking about a guy that's just going to give it his all every play. He's strong. He's versatile. He can play multiple positions on the defensive line. I'm projecting him to be a rotational player, as soon as he comes in. But, he's used to producing, so I won't be surprised if he just works his tail off and he forces the Falcons to keep him on the field. He's kind of giving me a little Adrian Claiborne, a little Bud Dupree, like somewhere in the middle. Just a guy that's just strong, man, but, someone that you just can't take your eyes off of because it'll make you pay. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this player. Do you think he'll be a rotational player? Do you see him as a starter? Like, how do you think he'll impact this team? Do you think this was the right pick for the Falcons, man? Do you think this is the right pick? I think this is an extremely good pick, man. We got great value to get him in the third round. A lot of people thought he should have came out last season. Again, last season he led in 2022. He led the nation in pressures, finished with 9 sacks. A lot of people had him projected as a second-round pick, but he decided to go back because he wanted to chase, a national championship with this team, and he got close, but it kind of hurt his draft stock. So maybe the Falcons were able to get a gem. Some people maybe overlooking, what he's been able to do. Because I was one of those people. That, like I said, he wasn't even 5th on my list. But now that I watch his tape, I dig deeper. I'm saying, okay, this is somebody that definitely shouldn't have went this late in the draft because he's just a good football player. But I appreciate y'all for joining me for another episode of Sip and Scout. Y'all let me know in the comments. Is there anybody y'all want me to do next? It's my first time jumping into football so far in this series. Y'all know I'm a huge Falcons fan, huge football fan. So y'all want some more football players? If so, y'all let me know. Definitely want to keep them Atlanta sports related. I'm thinking there's a couple different defensive linemen to scout, but there's a lot of great Atlanta Falcons content creators, covering this team too. So again, there's somebody in particular y'all want me to scout, we'll do it. Off top, I'm thinking Clark Phillips. I think that might be a guy we do next. So we'll have some college tape to look at, and then we'll have some film from his rookie season. I'm liking him as our number 2 corner. So look out for that episode coming. But like I said, let me know if y'all think this is the guy. Let me know if there's any other players that y'all would like me to scout. And just let me know if you made it this far. Just let me know. But I appreciate y'all for joining me for another episode. Until next time, peace.